Okay, I think that's it. I finally did it. Yep, okay, cool. Now we're live. I don't know why it took a while, but there we go. Okay. Let's see if it pings in the Discord. It sure does. Look at that. I am going to edit this little Discord thingy here because I noticed that there was a semicolon instead of a colon here. That's annoying. Okay. So today, I'm going to pull up my chat wherever that is. Okay, that's there. I don't need OBS. I don't need to see OBS. Okay. So I need to fix my Visual Studio for a second because it's like super brokey. For some reason, the text highlighting isn't working correctly in Blazor. This happens like fairly often. It's actually super annoying. So what I'm going to do, because LANCommander DB is here, I'm going to delete bin. I'm going to do show hidden items. Which is fine. There's no VS folder in here. And then I'm going to delete obj and then open up the solution again. I'm also going to listen to music. I'm not going to let you hear it because I don't want to get copyright striked. Whoops, that's not through my headphones. Okay. Now, if anyone's watching the debate right now, you can watch me instead. It's probably more interesting. But whatever. So, okay, cool. So the text highlighting is fixed. It's a standard like Blazor thing that I run into every so often. Usually I just either have to delete bin or the obj file directories in the project, and it fixes it. So I don't. It's something with how it takes the Blazor page, Blazor component files, and compiles them to C# code. But today what we're going to do, and I already kind of started earlier, while this project takes forever to launch. I am going to add filtering to the list. I know we kind of talked about it yesterday. I was like, oh, maybe that's something we can add for 1.0. But then I was thinking about it last night as I was trying to sleep, and then I realized that it's actually pretty darn easy. So we're just going to do that today. What I need to do is I need to look at the library service, which is the piece of code that actually loads the library from the local database. Which is under services because it's a library service. And I'm going to register a new, I'm going to do public delegate. We're going to call it, we're going to return a enumerable of a library item. And we're going to do library filter handler, public event library filter handler on library filter change. No, that's not the right. Library filter. I don't know what you want to call it. Let's just see what this does. I haven't really like thought this through on how it's actually gonna work, but we're basically gonna call this whenever we call get library items async. So when we before we return items, we're going to do items equals actually what we should do is library filter that has if library filter not equal to null. Yeah, I think that'll work. And we can do, there's probably a better way to do this, but we can see. We'll do library filter dot invoke. We need to pass in enumerable library item. Yeah. We'll pass in items. So this is going to invoke the library filter, and this is going to return an IEnumerable of items. So what we can do right, because that's going to be a list. We'll just do a return here. Shouldn't matter. Yeah, because it will match the signature, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a list, which is fine. So what we'll do is we'll go into the footer here, and inside here we'll have our content template, and we'll do a new component called library item filter. And I'm just going to call in that here, library item filter. We don't need to pass anything in there, right? Because what we'll do No, so okay, so we want to apply that when the results are loaded, but because they're loaded doesn't necessarily mean that we're just going to reload the items from the database every time. So we should also call it when we'll get there. We'll get there. It's fine. So I'm just going to lay out a form. So I'm going to look at the documentation for AmpLaser, right? Which is the UI library that we use. Sure, fine. I'll upload or update. I'm going to build a form. The form is basically going to be the controls for how we filter games. I think at first I'll just do a very simple search filter, and we can figure out where the filter actually needs to be called. And then we can start adding more controls for we can start adding controls for all the different things. So like what I really want to do is be able to filter on a lot of our metadata. So if we look at my local LANCommander instance, when you look at a game, I think I want to be able to filter based on title, sort title, engine, whether it's single player, developers, publishers, genres, tags, collections, and then multiplayer modes. Multiplayer modes is like one that's extremely important for us. Because like when I kind of showed this yesterday, but when we're looking at games in Play Night, we really like the ability to figure out what games have like, say we have like 20 people in a LAN party. We like to see what games will work at minimum with 20 people. And this will give us a more dynamic way in order to do that, which is really cool. So if we look at code here, basically I'm just going to write this thing, which is going to be a form tmodel equals, and we're going to have to introduce a class here to kind of set up our model. So we're going to call this filter model. We're just going to do this right in here. Form item. See. This is the stupid highlighting issue with Visual Studio. I hope they fix this in the next version because it's really kind of annoying, but sometimes you have to open and close the project whenever you add a new file in order to get like the proper text formatting so it compiles properly. I think I could have also built the entire solution and would have fixed it, but whatever. So we'll do public class filter model, so that resolves. Public string title. And then we'll do label, yeah, label title, and then we'll do input bind value equals context title. So this is binding onto the filter model here. I forget exactly how to use this form all the time. That's the only problem with some of these frameworks. Where did I have that? Whatever. I have so many tabs open. Where is form? Form's right there. Basic usage. Form model. Oh, okay, so that's not the type. We can specify T model if we want to specify the type, otherwise we can just type in model, which is fine. And my brother is playing Fallout 3 right now, which is his first time, which is pretty cool. So we'll do this, and we'll do filter model, filter model, and then we'll introduce here inject library service, and then we'll do detected override initialized. And we'll do library service dot library filter. I think we can do this async, right? I'm trying to think of where else. If we can do this async that like doesn't block. That doesn't block the render thread, which is good. I'm trying to think where else we do this in the client. I think we do it on main layout. Initialize, import complete, message success. We do it under library index a couple times. Yeah, okay, so we do that on load data. So we can just do plus and then do async void. So we'll go back to this. On library filter, invoked. And we'll call we got to pass in an IEnumerable of library item, in which case we'll need to do client models, and we'll call these items on library filter invoked. And this needs to return IEnumerable. Shoot. Okay, so that's fine. Wrong return type. Okay, so this can't be async. That's annoying. Okay, so what we can do is library return items. So we're just going to hook this up like this. We'll set a breakpoint here, and then we'll make sure that this is fired when we load stuff out of the database. I think it should happen immediately depending on when the database context is initialized. Instantiated, whatever you want to call it. But it doesn't, that's fine. If we do an import, I don't like how long this import process takes. It's really kind of annoying. Okay, so that didn't fire. Why didn't that fire? Library change invoked. Okay, so we can also do I also might want to invoke it here, but I'm trying to think if that's going to cause like some sort of loop. As long as I don't call library changed, which I will. So maybe if I call it beforehand, if I call the filter before on library change, that might be okay. So if I do where do I store that? Or do I pull those out? Yeah, I pull those out. What I could do is change this on library change to pass in our items and then consume that on the front end. That way we're not like doing database calls from there. Okay, well let's just see what this returns, or what this breakpoint looks like. Yeah, okay, so this is null because at this point in the application, we're just at the loading screen. So like the full component hasn't registered yet. So if we look at the front end for the library, when does it load data? On import complete, it should load data. Oh, you know what? It's because, yeah, duh. This won't register. Like if we put a breakpoint here on initialize, this is not going to get hit until that popover comes up. Because that thing is not instantiated. So if we click this, then it registers that library filter. And it's going to add that handler. So we can go like this, and we can do this. It's going to pull out. It's going to say that it's going to pull those items out of the database. Library filter. Yep. So that's actually registered now. So it's going to do that. We have 5 items, which are just our 5 categories. So we'll have to go through and do that. And then that's going to call that, which I think that's okay because we're not going to have a filter unless we want to store the state of the filter in like the settings YAML, or even store it in like the quote unquote browser like storage. I think that's okay. I think if we assume that things are unfiltered when you start, I think that's fine for an MVP. So we just need to define these filters in here now. So we can say if not string is null or white space. We can say filter dot title. And we'll just do a very, very basic string dot compare. Yeah, okay, so we'll do items dot items equals items dot where, and we'll say item string dot compare, and we'll do how do we do contains? Contains with invariant. C# contain string contains invariant nor case. Index of oh, cool. Yeah, okay, so we can just do this. Wait, no, that's because it has the string extension. Okay, well, we'll just do this thing. Index of. That would be fine. We'll do i.title. i.name. Name. We can also throw you can also do the sort title as well. i.name index of filter.title. Or oh, geez, what am I doing here? doing? Sort name. Boom. Okay, so now what this should allow us to do is, and I can put a button in here, right? So I can reload. I can reload the data when I hit apply on this button. I have to go back to the AntBlazer documentation because I always close that tab. Where is form? Where is form? Form item button. I'll strip all this out. And we're going to do the on finish. We'll get this out of here. Say apply. I'm going to throw this on one line because I hate the way that that looks. And we'll say library service dot library changed. I don't think this is, oh yeah, okay, cool. Cool. So library changed. Oop. Library change will fire this, which will invoke anything that is subscribed to. Library changed. And inside of here, that is going to do load data, which is then going to get library items, and it's going to apply the filter that we have set. I'm going to remove all the breakpoints so we can actually see what this looks like without like getting too into the weeds. So we can say ultra. Oh, fun. Oh, because sort name is null. So we'll change this sort name. And we'll also do name just in case. Okay, yeah, no, that doesn't work because it's going to, it's filtering out the collections. You don't want to filter out the collections. But what we could do is we could type in vintage, apply, and it's got our vintage gaming in there, so that filter applies. Or we could type in sauce, lowercase, and it's going to apply open sauce. So really we just need to apply this to the children, which is fine, I think. So if we just do a wrapping of this and we do for each for our item in items, if item dot type is equal to collection. Nope. Okay, fine. We'll just assume it's collection because that's all it is for now. We'll do item dot children equals item dot children, where that should be fine, right? Okay, because that's an observable collection. Explicit conversion. So how do we take this? How do we say filter observable collection C#? I don't even know why I made this an observable collection. Oh, because I can track the whether or not it's installed. Um, maybe if I just take this and I do new observable collection, and I feed it this thing, I'll have to do an import here, which is fine. Can I take in a parameter of oh, because I have to feed it a type, right? That should filter it, right? It's kind of complicated, but whatever. Nice. It would be nice to filter out the categories that don't contain anything. So, and that would be easy, right? I could do item items equals items dot where I dot children count is greater than 0, or I could just do dot any, right? Realistically. Sick. If I clear this out, what does this do? Haha, sick. Awesome. Perfect. See, that's all that filtering is. Like, it's just taking... this is probably pretty heavy because it's loading from the database every time. And there's certainly something that we could do about that by, like, having... pulling it out of cache, and then, like, when certain library actions change, or when certain calls to on library change are called, we can have it force load from the database. That's certainly something we can do and should do, but we don't need to do that right now. But that's really cool. I like that a lot. And then we can also have, like, in the form field, we can have it clear. I think the numbers for the multiplayer accounts are probably going to be the hardest, so I probably won't do that on stream here. I might figure that out later, but we can add a couple other things in here real quick, and then I'll show off this stuff I've been working on over just the past day, and then I'll probably end the stream because I gotta have dinner tonight yet, and it is 9:45. Yeah, so we just have library item filter. And I'll do styling separately too. CSS is boring to people. I love it, but I know it's not gonna come over well. So we'll look at library item filter, and we'll do form item label. What's the next thing we want to do? We could do engine. Let's do engine. What we really need to do are these, like, multiple select things, so we can select multiple engines. We can select multiple developers, publishers. So we can figure that out real quick. What are these using? I think I made, like, my own tag input. Tags input, right? So we're just going to copy. This is what I love about Blazor is, or just like any component-based framework. I already wrote this, so I can just take this, copy it. You could have like a shared assembly or whatever, but there's enough difference between the client and the server that I don't do that, but that might change in the future. But I can just take this tags input, paste it in here, and then I can use it over this way. But what I'm going to do on my other monitor is I'm going to pull up how I use those on the game edit screen, so I can kind of simulate what I'm doing. So tags, wow. Tags, input, choose current document, find entities, companies. Okay, yes. So in the filter, build in a filter. Let's do engine. Tags input, entities. This kind of sucks. That's, oh no, that's fine. That's fine. We'll do engines. Bind values equals context dot engines. Option label selector. Option label. We're going to say e dot name t item equals engine. Okay, and all this is going to be red for a little bit until we fill some of this in. Public. Let's not add it to the filter model yet because I don't know what type that is. We're going to do IEnumerable engines, and that's going to be bound to this guy here. On initialize, what we can do is engines equals engine service dot get. This will be an await, and then we gotta add here inject engine service. Oh, this tags input requires a base model. Does it know where it's pulling the base model from? No. That's probably part of the problem. Client data models, right? Yep. Okay, so that's complete now. So we're going to take a look at bind engines values because this doesn't have a thing. This is resolving properly, so we just need to add to the filter model. What does this end up being? Public I collection engines. Now that's all the red gone. Easy peasy. So then what we can do here is we can say if filter.engines any for each of our item in items item.children equals new observable collection library item.children where hello kitty cat. Hi. You want to say hello? Oh. What are you doing? Did you finish your dinner? Okay. She's going to cause some chaos here. You want to go on your chair? Yeah. Oh, that's a big jump. Big jump. All right. So we are going to do children.where, and we're going to say i.engine, no, data item as game. Okay, so that's engine filter dot engines any. This is gonna be a little heavy. I don't care. I need to make it easy. It's gonna be heavy, but it'll be easy. ID is equal to engine.id. And I think I need another parentheses there. Yes. This is gonna do like a really bad cast. And is not the greatest. Maybe if we do a... Yep, okay, cool. So this should filter based on engines that are selected. And if no engines are selected, then we should be fine. It should still do our thing here. So hopefully this tag's input works correctly. Filter engine. No data. Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, I didn't like that. I wonder, we're pulling in engines for the client, aren't we? Oh, no, we're not. Okay. So that's not something we can filter on, but that's fine. We have a template set up. We'll do this for, well, let's do this for genres. Genres are usually a pretty easy sort of thing to do. So we'll do genre. Clickety click. We'll need the service as well. Genre, service, genre, service. No, go back. Genres, so wait, genres, service, .get. So this should get, so I need a filter. I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna say engine, place with genre. Filter genre any this is gonna have to change because we have multiple genres, right? So we'll do any in here. G we'll call this FG instead of E. Filter genre FG.id is equal to G.id. look at those parentheses. Genres, any. Sure, let's play with it. It's gonna crash, but because that's not great. My link skills need to be better. I've just been kind of like self-teaching for a long time. Okay, so here we have, okay, so first of all, they need to be like sorted, right? But let's see, I want to see anything that is point and click. Okay, so we can do filter dot engines is not equal to null. We'll have to do that here. Filter dot genres is not equal to null. Ah, aha, haha. Okay, so that's a really quick like taxonomy filter. Let's say I want to see platforms. Is going to do those as well. It sure is. Sick. That is awesome. I want to see only genres. I'm clearing out the filter. Loads them all. Okay, so like I want to play an RTS. Boom. There's all the RTSs. God dang, that's sick. So I'll do this. Order by. So we got to bring the engines in because I'm definitely setting those up, but I'm not importing those, it looks like. Or if I am, that's an issue. Nope, not bringing the engines. So that, okay, yeah. Because there's a complexity with engines are a from game to engine is a one-to-many relationship, and there was something with that was like harder to do for some reason than a many-to-many, or just didn't fit my model. And it's because of this import from model thing. I just need to write custom logic here, so I'll have to resolve that before this like gets released. But yeah, that's pretty easy to do. So I should be able to do this like pretty easily for tags. So let's inject the service for tags. And this is something where like another taxonomy that I want to add and like to make this easier is to filter based on platform. Because there's like some people that are using this for like ROMs and stuff. I'll probably add a taxonomy for platform, and then that way, like if you had like Linux only games, you could also apply that there. Or Mac only games, you could like do that through here. So we're gonna do tags now. It's gonna be pretty easy. Just take this and genre tag. It's the keyboard shortcut for this. Alt A. Cool. Oh man, I'll only do it for selection. Okay. enumerable tag tags. I'm going to do the same thing here. Genre tag, Alt A, boom. Does that fix it, or am I missing something? I'm missing something here. Public I collection. Doing tag. Tags. Okay. Are we done? Oh, right. That's because this needs to be data.models.tag. I forget what the ambiguous reference is. Ant design, right? Okay, so now we should have a filter for tags. And like, it's really that easy. It takes a while for the filter to pop up, so maybe that's something that we could like pull. And we could possibly get it from like the library if we like get the list of games from the library and then just populate based on that. That might be the thing to do. But we'd have to do it on load and pre-filter, so that's like a whole thing. But okay, so it doesn't like search, which is fine. That's something that we can fix. And I think that's something that's broken in like the main application anyway, or the server application. But if we just do like tag by filter, and I want to see like 2.5D games, boom. There's all of our 2.5D games. And we can clear that out, and we're good. Oh man, this is so cool. And this is sorted now too, so that's nice. Shooter. Give me all the shooters. Give me all the shooters. Perfect. That makes sense. Why is it called a shoot? I guess it's a side scroller shooter, but cool, 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 cool. Let's see. First person shooters. This is gonna be like unless you really want to find something specific. Yeah, there we go. First person shooter. Sick. Sick, 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 sick. Shattered Steel is first person shooter. Oh yeah, because it's a mech game. Duh. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely like an old mech game. So yeah, I'm probably gonna end stream here because I'm getting hungry. But this is the start of like a very basic filter, right? And if I wanted to see like Doom, I could see anything that is a first-person shooter that is Doom. But this is just the start of like a very, very quick filtering system. The UI is obviously going to change. I'm going to put the filter button down below here and make it like a bigger button. And then these will get changed somehow. And then I need to pull in engines. But yeah, this is really, really easy interface to work with. I have to add a couple more filters, but those are just like companies and stuff, which isn't a big deal. So with that being said, like I did want to add a filter for platforms. Platforms are one of those things that once you get all your games in, it's gonna be a pain to like populate all that data. So at some point I might need to add like a automatic lookup or like an automatic population from IGDB. I believe in the database. Yeah, okay, so this is the client. Debug, open database. Patino, client. Why does this not have all my games in it? There we go. Did we record the IGDB here? No. Did we do it in the server? I hope we do it in the server. That'd be a bad thing if we don't do it in the server. Not a bad thing, but... we don't. Oh, no, we do. We started collecting it at some point. So when was this added? Vault Dweller. Okay, so if you added your stuff fairly recently, then we're collecting the IGDB ID. So then what we can do is I could basically have an interface that like allows you to check the fields for something, and then will allow you to automatically populate that field. LANCommander is a open source application I wrote that basically allows you to host your own digital PC game library. So it's like Steam, or it's like if you've used Plex, it's like Plex for PC gaming, or like a self-hosted Steam. So these are all coming over from my local server, and I can just like hit install. And it's going to download this game from my local server and extract it to my computer. So with that being said, since I'm close to jumping off, I wanted to show what I did yesterday. So when you go into the interface, I need to stop this. Let's show the local version of startup project. Always lose sight of that. Okay, now I can go to localhost. If I go into a game, the new feature I added last night is what's something that's on Steam? Dark Alliance, sure. So if we go into media now, and I look for if I want to find the logo for a game, it's gonna do some searching. Oh. And it's going to fail. Wonderful. Okay. Ignore that. I need to fix that. Let's do another game. What was one that worked before? Death Cars, I think. I'm just going to show it with this. So if I go into media, like some of the, you can see like I populated this media already. If I go search for a background, it's actually going to search. This is coming from, this is actually coming from Steam now. So this is something I didn't have before, but you can see it loaded. This from Steam's digital library. So this is something that like getting images. This one was grabbed from Steam Grid. And it wasn't, there was no like, it wasn't grabbing the official images from the Steam library. So now it should be grabbing it. Which is kind of cool. It just helps populate the ones that are like really like this game isn't really well known. And if you select it, it'll actually like download it to your server, which is cool. Icons don't pull in. It only grabs covers, backgrounds, and logos. I haven't figured out how to grab the icon yet. But I'm also working on a side project that basically will potentially extract the logo from your executable. which is cool. But that's like a whole stripping apart the exe and trying to find the resources out of that. So yeah, I think that's the only feature I added. And let's look at the commits. Oh, and then I added something else. Last night we added getting the manual PDFs from Steam. One of the other things I did is if you go into a game, there's this button was removed. And now if there are sessions, sorry, saves, if there's saves, I put the saves under like the game edit screen. So that's like just very basic, and you can go and download it or remove it from here. And that's just to kind of consolidate some of these views. And then I think that's all I really added since yesterday. But yeah, I'll play around with these filters and get them more involved, style them properly and all that crap. But yeah, that's how you build a filter. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, or if you're watching the VOD, thanks for watching the VOD. I don't think I'll be streaming tomorrow. I might be back on Sunday doing some programming, but I don't know if I'll stream that because I'm going to a wedding this weekend, so my social battery will be quite low. But yeah, I think that's it. So until next time, have fun playing games. Join the Discord. I should put the Discord in the description of this. Maybe I'll do that later, but yeah. Bye. Where's my bye?